Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all doing lovely. You guys deserve it. You guys are all amazing. So I went ahead and created this look. It's different. It's out of my element. I don't do a lot of greens. I feel like I look like a green parakeet. Beautiful creatures, by the way. I remember my mom used to have parakeets back in the day. I'm gonna tell you what happened about that later. And we're gonna go ahead and use this palette right over here. And before I forget, for those of you joining me for the very first time, my name is Kathy Renee. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate each and every beautiful souls that tune in. So enough about me rambling on. I'm gonna go ahead with a tutorial, and then I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the palette that we're gonna be using. So enjoy the show, guys. For my eyebrows, I went ahead and used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the color Taupe. To carve out my eyebrows and to use as a primer for my lids, I went ahead and used the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Light Ivory. And if you can see along here, it looks kind of shiny or kind of like wrinkly. I went ahead and put tape on the side here because I want I love a sharp look. I don't know about you guys. And it's much easier for the cleanup and everything else. And the palette that we're going to be going in with is the 39L Hit the Lights palette from Morphe. So the first color that we're going in with is this beautiful green shade right over here. The brush that I'm going to be using is the Morphe M330 brush. Alright, so I went ahead and dipped the brush into the palette. I did not dust it off because we're going to be building her up. And we're going to go like right by the little bone that you have here. We're going to be going along with that back and forth, okay? And then little circular motion. So that way it's just I know we're going to be blending it out, but it's just easier for you to blend out. I dipped my brush back into the palette because, as I mentioned earlier, we are building her up into the pretty green shade that you see on my right eye. Yeah, we're building her up, you guys. I mean, it's nothing special. It's nothing different. You just got to be really, really patient with this. You gotta believe in yourself, and you have to trust the whole process. And you just can't give up. You gotta keep going. All right, so just keep going. I'm just blending it back and forth, right by like where my bone, my orbital bone is, and I'm just doing little circles to blend everything out along my orbital bone as well. All right, so everything looks like even and blended out. Just make sure you guys do that. All right, so next color that we're going to be going in with is with this color right over here, and the brush that I'm going to be using is the Morphe M433 brush. I dipped the brush into the palette, and then I'm not dusting it off or anything. First I packed it in there, and then I'm just blending it out. It doesn't matter if you get it like all over the crease, the center of the crease, half of the crease. It doesn't matter, or on the actual eyelid. We're gonna be blending it out regardless. All right, again, we're just packing the color in there. By the way, I dipped the brush into the palette, packing her in there, and then we're gonna be blending it. And it doesn't matter you get it on the lid because we're gonna be cutting the crease anyways. You guys want to achieve this gradient that we have going on. Okay, it looks pretty much even. We're gonna go on to the next step. So as you can see off camera, I went ahead and cut the crease and also began on the right eye. To cut the crease, I went ahead and used the LA Girl Pro Concealer in flat white corrector, and the brush that I used was the Morphe M167 brush. If you can see, it is a flat packer brush, and it's really, well, for me, it's really easy to do my cut crease. The next color that we're going to be going in with is this color right over here. The brush that I'm using is the Morphe M124 brush. So what I just did was pack the brush into the color, and then I did not dust it off, so I'm just packing her right in here. And what's good about this is that the concealer is still wet, and we're going to take advantage of that so that way the color can't grab on. And since you guys pretty much know the drill, So I am currently I'm binge watching the American Horror Story on Netflix. I'm currently on the hotel one. So the next shade that we're using is right over here. And the brush that I'm going to be using is the Morphe M124 brush. And just so you guys know, I went ahead and dipped the brush into the palette. And then I'm just packing her in there. What's good is that the concealer is still wet. It's just grabbing everything. It's good. I mean, it doesn't matter if the concealer is dry or not either. It just helps you out, that's all. Another way that you can do this is, like, let's say if the concealer is dry, another option that you have is just wetting. Like, let's say you already have the color on the brush already. Get like setting spray, spray it on there and just pack it on there, so that way it not only that it will create a metallic effect, but it will also stay there and also last long as well. Just an option just in case the concealer dries up on you. And just take your time with it. What's good is that with this flat brush, it's allowing me to move very smoothly along the cut crease, and also to take my time with it as well. And it's okay if it looks a little bit uneven. Remember, we're gonna be blending out the outer corners again before we proceed. So off camera, I went ahead and did my eyeliner. For liner, I went ahead and used the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner in black, as you can see. And that's the benefit of the tape as well. What I did was I put the tape and then just whoop, drew that line. For my upper waterline, I went ahead and used the retractable pencil in brown. For my lower lash line, as you can see, I went ahead and used the retractable pencil in white. And the reason why I use white is just so my eyeball can appear like a little bit open, since I have very hooded lids. And the reason why I use a brown on the upper lid is just so when I have the eyelash on and also the eyeliner, like whatever is on top here, it blends in, so you guys don't have to see like the white part of my upper line over here. For eyelashes, I'm gonna use the Lily Lashes in the style Atlanta. And I use whatever mascara, because at the end of the day, to me it doesn't matter, because I usually pop on a lash anyway. Moving on to the rest of the face, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Glow in the color Bronzed. I just put like a little bit, because this formula, a little bit goes a long way. And I'm gonna be using my fingers to rub everything on my face, because your fingers have like natural heat, and the heat is gonna help us rub everything in place. At the same time, please remember to avoid the eye area. I don't want you guys to get hurt. And at the same time, please watch out with the eyebrows and also your beautiful eye creation as well. Moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation in the color 190. I went ahead and used 2 pumps on each side of my face. I know it looks a little out there because since it's new, kind of out there, but yeah, I'm gonna be using a wet beauty blender from Juno & Co. I like it wet because I feel like I get best results out of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend now. Moving on to concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Concealer in the color 190. I went ahead and placed it on my forehead, along my nose, on top of my nose, sides of my nose, and on my under eye, my cupid's bow, and also my chin. I usually use this to brighten up. And same Velvet Beauty Blender from Juno & Co. I'm going to be using it to blend it out. Moving on to cream contour, we're going to go ahead and use the LA Girl Pro Filt'r Concealer in the color Medium Bisque. I went ahead and used it along like my cheek area, my forehead, my jaw area, along my mouth, and like my nose right over here. The reason why I do it at all of these places, just so I can look really chiseled, and since I have like a round oval face, I just want to create some type of dimension. And to blend everything up, I'm still going to be using the same beauty blender. I'm using the Juno & Co. beauty blender. It's velvet, and as usual, make sure that it's wet for best results. You can also use this dry, but my preference is to have it wet. So moving on to baking, I went ahead and began baking using the bake-in set from Morphe in the color banana. It looks a little something like this. I went ahead and put it like along my cheek, down to the jawline area. I went ahead and put it along my nose, and then I put it on my forehead. It doesn't look like I put it on my forehead because I'm a greasy and oily person, but that's the whole point. The whole point is to just absorb as much oil as possible, so that way you will look chiseled, which is my goal here. And then at the same time, let's say when I go out, my makeup won't move around and it will last longer. And usually I leave this on for about 2 minutes or more. So now I'm gonna go ahead and dust it off. So our girl's gonna be right back. We're gonna be going back into the palette, and then we're gonna be using these two colors right over here. We're gonna be creating our color. The brush that I'm going to be using is the Morphe E17 brush. Alright, so I just moved position. I hope that you guys can still see me. And then what I'm doing right now is just with these two colors that we just created over here. We're just going to be doing it along the lash line. I really hope that you guys can see this. I apologize in advance if you guys can't. This is just a really weird angle for me that I like to have. I like to have a mirror like looking down and really close as possible, but I want you guys to look at what I'm doing here too. And it's gonna be a little messy, and that's okay. I'm always down for a grungy look. And then I went back into the palette, and by the way, I'm not dusting anything off. I just want to create these colors here. So just take your time, blend it, and if it gets in your eye, it's okay, but just try to avoid the eye. It's not like bad for your eye or anything. Like, it's not toxic. Like, obviously having things inside your eye is bad, but it's not like toxic or like life-threatening or anything else like that. And just take your time blending it. And then usually the reason why I do like the bottom is just, for example, just look at it as like a picture. Like, your eye is like the picture, and then like the top lid and also the bottom lid are also the frames. And for me, since I have hooded lids, I feel like it complements the hooded lids a little bit more, but that's just me. This is my preference. You guys are more than welcome to do whatever you guys want. So next shade that we're going to be going in with is this beautiful golden glittery shade right over here. And the brush that I'm going to be using is from Sigma Pencil E30 brush. I have a code for you guys to get 10% off site-wide anything. I'm going to list it down below. I want to help you guys save money, and who does not love a good discount? So I dipped the brush into the palette. I'm not dusting it off, and I'm just packing it in here. And then I'm blending little circles. So the trick is to pack in there first to set it in there, and then blend it out. And then that was just in the inner corner. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to do it here, my brow area. I'm not going to do it in the full underbrow, just so you guys can see the shimmer. And then I'm not doing anything special. It's just, you know, just doing it back and forth like that. Now this is a little trick that I like to do. The first blending brush that we did with the green in the beginning, this has no product whatsoever, okay? And then you can use any blending brush you want. I'm gonna use it for the first one that we use because it's just my preference. And then I'm just lightly back and forth above the cut crease. We're just gonna be blending back and forth above the orbital bone, and then little circles, just so it can all be blended. And then when you take pictures of the eye look, you guys can see like that really pretty gradient. Okay, so going back into the palette, we're going to be using this beautiful light golden shade right over here. And the brush I'm going to be using is the Morphe M441 brush. I feel like this type of brush is really good for highlighting for me. That's my preference. If you guys want to use any other brush, I encourage you to do so. At the end of the day, it's what your preference is. Okay, so I dipped the brush into the palette. I'm not dusting it off. So what I'm doing right now is I'm pressing it on here. Okay? Just keep pressing that on there so that way you can have the glow through every angle. I really hope that you guys can see this. My little camera doesn't let me. So then after you're done pressing it on there, I like to rub it in, like just back and forth like that, and then little circular motions like this as well. Now we're gonna do the same thing in the temple area. Off camera I went ahead and dipped the brush into the palette, did not dust it off, and I'm just pressing her on there. And my little, make sure you wear a headband with this. I usually forget to do that. And then I'm done pressing it. I'm just gonna, well, in this case, I'm not gonna go back and forth because my little hair is in the way. But you guys get the gist of it. As you see, I got my freaking hair in the damn way. But yeah, you guys get the gist of it. And then with the excess that I have here, I'm just gonna be doing it above my brow area like that. Nothing special. And I dip back into the palette. I'm gonna be pressing on here my Cupid's bow. If you're sweaty, like a little sweaty, that's, I'm not trying to sound gross or anything, but to me it works when I'm a little bit sweaty, because I feel like when it's like wet, it's naturally like activated. Or maybe it's just my oil, you never know. Again, I'm doing it for my Cupid's bow. I dip the brush back into the palette. I'm just pressing it in there so that way the color can catch on. And then I'm rubbing it. All right, so for this, at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and do the nose. I grabbed a brand new brush. You can use whatever brush that you want, it's for your preference. I chose the Morphe M431 brush. So what I'm gonna be doing is going up and down my nose here. Okay, now with the highlighting brush that we were using from the beginning, or any kind of brush that you're using, or a brand new brush, it doesn't matter, it is up to you at the end of the day. I'm using the highlighter brush that we were using from the beginning. I didn't dip the brush back into the color. I'm just using the excess from what we used. And what I'm doing is I'm just going up and down here just to blend it out a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm gonna be doing the tip of my nose as well. And if you guys want to redo like the contour and the sides of your nose, go ahead and do that, because I'm gonna go ahead and do that anyway. And I'm gonna put on some liquid lipstick, so oh girl's gonna be right back. So as you can see off camera, I went ahead and did my lips. Usually why I do it off camera is because I usually have a hard time pairing the lip with like the whole face, and it's a freaking mess, to be honest with you, because I put it on and then I take it off, I put it on, take it off, and it's a mess of shenanigans. So for lips, I went ahead and used the Azeredo Cosmetics liquid lipstick in the color Hunty. As you can see right over here, it's like a nude and it blends in, which this is what you need. So this is the final look. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. And if you guys recreate this, let me know. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the 39L Hit the Lights palette from Morphe. First and foremost, I wanna say that the packaging is beautiful. Like, it's like holographic, as you can see like on my ring light, how beautiful that is. And then of course you have like all of these beautiful colors and beautiful tones, like everything to work with. So this palette was created by 4 different influencers, and I really like how they all work together with like the shades and how it tells a story. What I really love is that like all of these centers right over here are all shimmers, and it could be used for anything that you want. And so I worked with like basically like these 3 colors right over here, and some of the shimmers. Morphe shimmers are freaking awesome. I literally, majority of the shimmers that I've tried from Morphe have not been disappointing. So if you guys haven't tried the shimmers from Morphe, I strongly recommend it. And normally the Morphe formula is really buttery, really creamy. I don't know why I'm describing it that way, maybe because I'm hungry or something. But to be fair, this blends really beautifully. Now, especially with the really bright colors, Now you had to build it, and that's okay. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with building colors because, and either way, let's say if it was super pigmented as well, I would be okay with that. So for me, this is a freaking awesome palette. You need to get your hand on this as soon as possible. This is something that you won't regret. And you have a little bit of playful, like, to play with. You have like all the color section right over here. You have this section right over here, which is called the after party. You have the meta holographic. You also have code red right over here. Reds are beautiful to work with, yet really hard, so I can't wait to try those out. And then you have the smoke show right over here where my finger is. This is beautiful. You have a little bit of everything to work with to combine. So this is an awesome palette. So Morphe once again did it. So this concludes the review of the palette. So this also concludes the tutorial as well, and also the show. I hope you guys like it, and please consider subscribing to my channel. Please share this video, like it, share it with your friends and your family, and connect with me on social media. I have everything linked down below. And until next time, guys, goodbye.